ever danced with raccoons in a unicorn stampede.
Hyperdellic.
Hey kids, it's Hyperdellic. Today, I finally got my birthday present. The Fright Zone. I'm a little excited, can you tell? It's funny, I was trying to set this shot up the whole time here. Like, it took me like a good half hour just to figure it out. And like, I got a chair behind me, but if I sit on it, I look like a little guy. So, 1985, back again, baby. I remember when this came out, I wanted it so bad. This is kind of one of my grails. I was never huge on the Eternia playset, right? Like, I wanted to be into it. And it was funny, like, but it was like, I don't know. I didn't see the draw of it. I knew it was huge, and I knew it had some cool features to it, but it just wasn't like, it wasn't barbarian enough, right? Definitely a lot more technological, you know, lots of high-tech stuff, but, or well, high-tech looking stuff. But it wasn't exactly what I was, you know, into. But that Fright Zone, you know, coming out before that, my parents never got it for me, and I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. I think they figured I had enough play sets. And I mean, honestly, I did. I mean, I had Castle Grayskull, I had Snake Mountain, I also had the mobile command center for G.I. Joe, and a bunch of other stuff with G.I. Joe. And it was just crazy. Like, I mean, we had the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I mean, me and my brother, we were lucky kids. We definitely were. We had a lot of good stuff when we were kids. Some of that made it to today. I have it in my collection currently. A lot of my MOTU stuff. There's a couple of odds and ends from Ghostbusters. And I got a few of our old G.I. Joes and stuff. You know, just stuff to put on the shelf, look at every now and again, and remember, you know, playing with toys with my little brother and waking up on Saturday mornings and picking out guys and watching cartoons. And I don't know. There's just something about it. You guys all know. Those of you who are into MOTU and are ancient like I am, you get it, you know? The nostalgia, it just brings back those childhood memories and those memories of playing with friends. And some good memories, some bad memories. But overall, I think the memories that we have gotten from all of our playtime, they're gonna stick with us till the day we drop. Which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I loved the Fright Zone, and I love the idea of the Fright Zone just because it had so many cool little features. I mean, I'm looking up at the top right now, and it's got them all listed. So I got a cheat sheet. It says it's showing the little moat guy. You know, obviously, the original was a puppet that most have not made it to this day. I mean, I don't know what the heck they were thinking making it out of latex. I think it was obviously going to break down and fall apart. I mean, some of them got destroyed well before we were all out of our childhood years. What else do we got? We got the branches that grab and hold a warrior. That's what it says. And then trap a warrior in the tree monster's mouth. That's new. That's a little different. And we're going to try them once we put everything together. And then prison holds one warrior. And poor Beastman is in the cage up here. Oh, and I got to grab... I don't have Whiplash down there, but I think he's supposed to be in the cage. I tried to grab as many of the figures that you see on front. I did not go for my Battle Armor Skeletor or my Battle Armor He-Man. I have them both, but I preferred the cartoon collection versions of those. I know, opinions. And then the last part is the Rock Monster snatches warriors free. Now, as far as I know, there's a few other little features to this. I mean, especially like the fact that you can turn it around. I know the community's buddy, Mr. Home Arcade. He's working on a video right now to see how many of these he can put together all at the same time. That man had like a bazillion of the monsters. Thanks a lot, Man-at-Arms. Way to hang in there. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna rip into this box. Now, gently open it, and I'm gonna splay out all the pieces, and we're gonna put it together. All right, let's get this done.
Hyperdellic.
Okay, so first things first, when you yank it out of the box, this is what you're going to be looking at. Let's go. Let's do a deep dive. There are instructions, right? There's some crinkly bags. Couple crinkly bags. Another crinkly bag. Tree. Don't worry, we're gonna get closer up on these. We got a bunch of parts we gotta take out. Oh, look at this guy. Holy crud. This is way bigger than I expected. Way, way bigger. Come on. Get him in there. He's pretty. Ooh, look at this boy. I mean, he's all kind of jacked up right now, but we're gonna smooth him out. Alright. Alright, so we're just gonna cut over to all the pieces being pulled out.
Hyperdellic.
Okay, so everything's out of the box. And as you can see, we got a bunch of pieces. Got that giant moat monster there. Don't worry, my glasses aren't a part of this. We've got some 3 birds of a feather, little black birds. We've got some weapons. We got a few tree parts, cage, all of that. All right, we're gonna get to assembling.
Hyperdellic.
All right, so we are going to start putting this together. Now, if you want the building experience to not be spoiled, I would say fast forward a little bit. I'll try to put chapters in here, but I'm not promising nothing. Yeah, I am. I'm lazy. But yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna start with this here instruction booklet. We're gonna open to page 1, and I'm gonna show you page 1. Well, I mean, technically, this is page 1. So, we're gonna open this up, and it looks like it kind of folds out like a map. A little bit. So, first things first, we're gonna flip to the build side. We've got page 2, which shows all of the major parts. And then page 3, we're gonna start with the assembly. First things first, we take these parts, big ones, and we're gonna connect them. So it looks like we take these 2 pieces and these 2 pins, right? And we're gonna make them go together so nice and smooth, right? So nice and smooth. Doing this all in one take. Get it in post. Freaking Bill O'Reilly. Alright, so, and as you can see, that means this bad boy hinges. And it looks like it closes up to be sort of closed playset-esque. Okay, I'm digging it. So now that I got that part going, it says to bring this part in. Now, it looks like, I mean, eventually this is going to have to be able to pop off. And what I'm worried about is how durable those connections are. So like I just popped it in, and it's not bad. And there's already an issue in seeing that I don't like. You can see this hole right here. I don't know, we'll zoom in on that. Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyways, so taking a look at this, and I want to see, like, it's not coming apart super easy. So you're probably not gonna want to do this a ton. Maybe Mr. Home Arcade had the right idea by grabbing a couple of different sets. I don't know if you can actually make them all connect and still be able to use the back sides of these. I think maybe you'll have to do like some weird finagling and so forth. I look forward to Mr. Home Arcade's video. We should all be watching for that. Okay, so that is the first spot. Maybe it says click. It's cute. Now, that was step B. Now we're moving to step C. And that is putting together the dungeon. Or the cage or whatever. So, we start with this part. And then, grab the iconic cage door. Don't tell me it's not iconic, because it is. I mean, this is what I always think of when I see the Fright Zone. Is like this cage with somebody in it. Alright, so now we take this part and we're putting it in here. And does it fit nicey nice? Oh, look at that. It's kind pops right in. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be removable or not. We will find out later in the steps. But now, we're moving on to step D. The tree. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Step D, the tree. Hey, it rhymes. I'm a poet. I didn't know. So, first things first, we see that we've got the tree. So we're going to grab the tree. Ooh, there's some craziness going on here. Gosh. That's how that works. That's fun. I can't wait. That is actually going to be, it's going to be fun to do. Anyways, so it says to take a look at it from the side. So we start there, and we're going to grab the throne base. And there's some clippies right there, and there's some spots for those clippies right there. So we're going to, ever so nicey nice, slide those together. Now, looks like you gotta kind of pop it in there from underneath. But yeah, that works. Okay, and so that's Hordak's throne. There's some interesting vibes going on with this thing. Alright, and next, step 3 of this whole process of the tree/throne is putting it up here. Yeah, popping it out. Now, not really sure what more this needs to do. Oh, and we missed a step. I forgot to put this part, it's like a tree limb, up here. Alright, that took a little finagling, but it worked. We did, we got it. And it looks like it's just meant to fold down, maybe when you're transporting it or whatever. But that brings us to page E, or step E. Yeah, page E. 6E. I don't know. It does say whether these are one-time assemblies or if this is going to be, like on page 1 it said outside view. Page 2, it says one-time assembly with the tree and the throne and everything. And then what we do is we scoot over to the inside view. So we're going to turn this bad boy around. And we have to put a couple of pieces on the inside. So it looks like you don't have to convert it in order to still play with the other side. So it looks like this piece right here, with the jaw on it and stuff, kind of slides in here. There's a couple of spots down here to slide it into. And we're gonna boop that in there. Boop. Now, I don't think that's meant to come out, and hopefully it won't. And then it also has 2 slots, which look like that's for when we do transformation. All right, so now we take this other piece, this large floor piece, and we just hear that we have another slot all the way around the edges that you kind of slide this into. Hopefully my tablecloth does not get in the way. And it's a lovely tablecloth, is it not? All right, so it's a little tight, but you know, snug is good. You don't want everything to be loose. So yeah, you can pop that in. And then again, you have 2 like 2 slots here for when we convert it. I don't know what's going on there, but nah, should be all right, I think. But that is a problem. All right, so here is your outside view. And here is your inside view. Now, I did miss one step over here. Did not put that on. And that looks like it rotates. You could probably hold a guy with it or something along those lines. And that's about it. It looks like for the construction. We've got these Blackbird Raven dealies, which, I mean, thank you, Mattel. Every video, every time I've ever seen one in a toy store, you know, being resold, these are always broken off. The tree is always messed up. Thank you, Mattel, for giving us these as separate pieces. Because it would have sucked if they weren't, right? Like, I mean, make them all one solid mold and just let everything break. Truth be told, we still don't know if these will hold up. I mean, for all we know, these little guys' legs will break over time. But for now, they look pretty fantastic. Now, it doesn't look like they told me to put the weapons up. Not yet, at least. But there is an image on the inside of the weapon armory wall. That's cool. But first things first, to play outside of the Fright Zone. Who's going to be our victim? Who's going to be our victim? You know what? It's going to be somebody who probably hardly ever goes to the Fright Zone. That's going to be Lino from the new Thundercats MOTU crossover line. Lino's going to be our test dummy for a bunch of stuff. So, like, on the inside, or on the outside, you can put him in the cage. Oh no, Lino's trapped! Which is hilarious. And then, what else can we do on the outside? Well, on the outside, you can... he's being eaten by the tree. Oh no! Terrible! Right? And then put him in the rock monster. It's not really, it doesn't really grab very well. You gotta kind of have to shove him in there. Let's see. One of the other things that they show as like a play feature trap is this rock monster face thing on the side here. You can just, it's eating my head. I mean, you can tell I'm a grown adult and I don't know how to play anymore. But the big deal with this new version of the Fright Zone is that, well, I mean, as you can see, I'll show you a couple of the pages here. You got page 3 or section 3, whatever. To play transforming the Fright Zone. We detach. Come here, Lino. You know, get your head together. So, first things first, we have to detach the floor. I'm telling you, that is terrifying every time I do it. The other thing is, this has to come out. The dungeon piece, right? Okay, so we took these two pieces out. Now we're going to turn it around. And we're going to bend it in a little. Make the throne accessible there. And we're going to put the dungeon in this way. Although you can leave the dungeon the way it is and it would look like this. But you turn the dungeon around to be inside you. And there you go. Now we're going to attach the grapple. Now it seems weird to me that we also have this on the inside, but that's fine. I mean, suspend all disbelief, it's a toy. So, now let's scoot this, well, maybe I should scoot this a little bit back so you can see it all. Okay, so, I mentioned before, the weapons. We can put the weapons on the weapon wall, and what we have is we've got a spare staff club thing, like what comes with the Horde Troopers. And it looks like that should probably go right there. And then we've got a red version of Misty Sr's gun, which is pretty dope. I like it. But I'm probably going to give it to like Voltec or something like that because he doesn't have any weapons. So this one's going to go up here. Boop. And then we've got this spare crossbow that looks like all the crossbows have the same head. For some reason, I remember the original MOTU figures, each crossbow having a different face, but I think maybe that's just my brain making it up. Good old Mandela effect. But that fits right here. There's a little notch that you can put the arm bands on. And then all the way at the end, our last set of instruction pages here, it shows you all the cool little play features. You can grab and hold a warrior with one of these. So like, come here, Chitara. Don't ask why I got these right here. I don't know why, but I do. And then we're gonna take Hordak. Let's see how well he sits on the throne. It's not perfect. I can tell you that right away. But I can kind of weasel him in there. I say weasel because you really kind of have to finagle it and make it work. Not perfect, but it's cooler than if we didn't have that. And then, apparently, you can fit, and it doesn't look like you can fit a normal size figure in there. Like, in this, I mean, he's a bit too husky for that, right? Can't close it around it. But it would appear as though it is just the right size for a female figure. Sure, my guy Thanos Copter will think that that is a nice little kinky addition. Shout out Thanos Copter. I know. It's not the torture dungeon that the Snake Lair had, but it's still pretty dope. So you've got a lot of the same kind of play features, but at least you've got like this inside if you really want it. And then you've got this bad boy. So we need to talk about this, and we're gonna do a close-up of just him right now.
Hyperdellic.
Alright, so here is the dungeon monster thingy. Or MOTU Sr, as I'm going to call him. Because it's basically, it's MOTU, but way bigger. Way bigger. Like, holy freaking Christ, this thing is humongous. like, look at this thing. And I love the jaw action. That's fantastic. How, like, the bottom jaw opens along with the top jaw. Like, the action just kind of, that's fantastic. That's so cool. I like that. So you go over this thing, and the first thing I'm going to tell you is MOTU Sr is made out of the same plastic as the Fright Zone. This is a hard plastic, reminiscent of maybe a vehicle or something along those lines. So like, you can tell that like they had to cheapen this up a little bit in order to make the price point, right? Because if this was a solid figure, this would probably cost $100 all on its own. The fact that this is a pack-in as big as this thing is with the Fright Zone is like outstanding. Like, holy cow. I'm seriously like blown away by this. I had no idea this thing was this freaking big. And he's got several points of articulation. Several. Like, the jaw, the hinging, awesome action jaw thing is there. But that also looks like, yeah, right here, there's one point of articulation. And like, it's got some decent range. Not bad, right? Surprisingly, not bad. It has a tail that can be turned around, but it, lines up with the mold. Unfortunately, they did not continue to paint on this, which is, it's a little disappointing. Again, I'm still blown away by it. I still think it's freaking amazing that they threw this thing in here. And then what we've got, I guess maybe you can compare this almost to the same weight and quality as like Battle Cat and Panther. And it looks like if you take a look, teeth hit the tongue and leave marks. It was probably packed out like this, and it probably left those, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. So there's another problem. Right here, closer up, there's some paint mess. So it looks like they oversprayed it a little too much right there, and then it got goopy, and looks like it touched something. Let's see how this side turned out. This side turned out pretty good. But yeah, that's there, and that's unfortunate. But it's fine. I mean, you pose it, you don't have to show that. It's not like I'm like, oh, Mattel sucks. Could have been better QC there. I will admit, that could have been better QC. But overall, I think that the whole entire thing is not too bad when it comes to quality. The feet, it has 6 articulated legs. They don't rotate, or they just are. Well, I mean, they don't like pivot or anything like that. They only rotate, and it's definitely not 360 because you'll get stopped by the sculpt itself. But I mean, you've got some play there, and the feet, being articulated as they are, kind of give you the ability to do a few things that you wouldn't do otherwise. And again, like we'll show the underbelly. It's ticklish. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the freaking coolest things that MOTU has ever given us. I cannot get over the fact that this thing is just this big. I mean, I have some pretty normal sized hands, and yes, I had to bust out the glow in the dark race ring. Also, my shout out to Han Cholo. These rings are awesome. This is a huge chunky ring on my hand, and it looks kind of funny sometimes, but I'm getting used to it, and I dig the living heck out of it. But back to this. I'm not sponsored by Han Cholo either. Although, Han Cholo, if you want to sponsor somebody in the MOTU community, I do rings all the time, so But overall, this is MOTU Sr. Yes, I'm going with that. MOTU Sr. That is such a neat looking face. Roar. Roar. Alright. I'm going to pose this playset out, just like they have it shown on the box. We're going to zoom out, and then we're going to do some final thoughts. Alright, let's get this done.
Hyperdellic.
Alright, final thoughts time. There we go. I did my best. I threw a few extras in there too. We got Voltac back there, and Dispara, and our one of our horde troopers, and then I threw Mosquitor over by the slime pit. But other than that, I mean, I've tried to stay fairly true to what the box art was. Although, like, it's funny, like on the front of the box art, we got Buzz Off, sort of. It's like Buzz Off with a human face. And then on the back of the box, we've got Whiplash in there. So I just went with Whiplash in the cage. But okay, so where is this on my scale as far as MOTU goes? You guys are gonna kick my butt on this one, but it's a 10, maybe a 9.8, just because there are a couple of small QC issues. Like over here in this corner, there's like a spot where there's a little dot. I'll do a quick little video zoom in on that. There you go, like that. I don't know why that's there. And then in the hinge, it doesn't fully come together, except for where the pegs go through, up here on the top, and then here on the bottom. In the middle, it's just all kind of janky. Not really sure why. And I did have one heck of a time trying to get some of the birds to stay on the branches. Once you move those branches out of their default positions, the birds don't want to look normal or correct. I'm not really sure how to put that any better. But they want to pop off and fall off of the branches constantly. Not if you've got them on there secure, but you have to put the branches in their default position. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then, we had a little bit of paint slop and some paint indent from the teeth on MOTU Sr. And honestly, I mean, I can forgive it. This is a mass-produced product. I would have liked it to be a little bit more perfect, but, not everything is perfect. You're never going to get perfect out of any toy. If you do, keep it, put it back in its box and don't ever open it, and keep it until you're 90 years old and then give it to your grandchildren to sell. I don't know. Something along those lines. This is an awesome upgrade to the Fright Zone of 1985. I wouldn't say that I know for certain, because I've played with it. I had, family members that had the Fright Zone. I had friends that had the Fright Zone. I just didn't have the Fright Zone. But I loved it. This is definitely bigger. Not massively bigger, but it's sizably, there's a noticeable larger difference compared to the original Fright Zone. I want to say I love the modularity of it, how you can pull it apart and then reorient it to be the inside of the Fright Zone. I think that's a super fun feature. For my display purposes, it's going to be like this. It's going to be front facing, and it's going to be in its default state. But that's not to say that the reverse side isn't awesome. Like, it's freaking cool. The fact that Mattel and their design team thought that that would be a fun play feature, they were right. They nailed it. They hit it on the head. This is definitely one of the cooler playsets. There is so much more going on in, like, even though this playset is smaller than Castle Grayskull or Snake Mountain, there just feels like there's so much more going on in this thing. There are definitely way more traps and monsters and things, and things to do with your figure. I mean, it makes sense that the Fright Zone kind of evolved to have so many play features, seeing as that it came after Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull. I mean, Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain had some really cool play features, like the dropping, drawbridge, or jaw bridge, I should say. And then, the elevator and the trapdoor in Castle Grayskull. And then with Snake Mountain, with the new one that we got, we've got the whole, movable cage, and we had like the little moat with all the little moat monsters and stuff like that. Those are fun. And what else was it in Snake Mountain? That snake was pretty phenomenal. The wolf coming off seemed kind of weird. The microphone piece, even though it's not a microphone on the newer version. But, I mean, it's fine. I'm not really sure what they were going for there. It feels like they, with Snake Mountain, they just kind of tried to emulate what was originally done. But with this one, what it feels like they did was they emulated what had already been done and tried to kind of give it a little bit more oomph. And they were successful. Like, if there's anything that this playset has, it's oomph. Like, I cannot wait to get it into the diorama that I have going with all of my other MOTU stuff. It's becoming a very crowded platform because I have Snake Mountain on one side, Castle Grayskull on the other. This is going to go in the middle, and then there's like a little mountain playset thing that I got off of Amazon that I'm pretty sure everybody in the toy community has either looked at or picked up at one time. But yeah, it's going to look fantastic. I like that they really did pay attention to the feel, and it still has the MOTU playset feel, right? It doesn't feel like it's a big departure like Eternia. Eternia, I don't know. It just, to me, it didn't ever feel like a Masters of the Universe playset. It wasn't gritty and dark and brutal enough. This is definitely brutal, and it is outstanding, and I love it. I'm giving it like a 9.8. I want to give it a 10, but I gotta be somewhat critical of some of the small flaws. And again, the flaws are small. They are minor, right? I am not destroyed at the end of the day. I'm not disappointed whatsoever. I don't think you will be either. There is something that I wanted to mention. It's a little weird, but my wife, like I mentioned, that this was a birthday present, and my wife got this off of Mattel Creations site. She even signed up for a Club Grayskull membership, but somehow, for some reason, the box, the shipper that it came in, it's a Mattel box, but it says that it's from Big Bad Toy Store, which is weird. I don't know what the scenario is going on there, but it's almost like Mattel had issues with their side of the supply, so they tapped Big Bad Toy Store to, send their supply out for them. It's funny, like, my wife didn't even have to sign up for the Club Grayskull membership. She probably could have just gone to Big Bad Toy Store, and I probably still would have gotten this at about the same time. So, make your choices, decide on what you want, and, live with what happens in the long run. I'm still extremely pleased. I'm glad that I got a chance to open this. Misty Sr is awesome. All of the play features on this are really cool. There is plenty of room, I think, for customization, adding like a wash here, maybe on the bars of the cage or something, or putting a couple of tiny details where they wouldn't have already been. Overall, I think that this is one of the funnest play sets that Mattel has re-released. I think that features like the face on the side here, and the kind of slightly upgraded rock monster in the floor grabbing at He-Man are all indicative of the fact that Mattel is doing their best to give us some more zhuzh, right? There's a little zhuzh here, and it shows. Like, there's some nice airbrushing touches to the play set that are subtle enough to not look gaudy, right? There's some low light spray around the edges here and over by the little mountain rock slide and all that stuff. It's not just a plain gray, rocky platform. It's got so much character to it. And I mean, guaranteed, like, if this was given to a kid, they would have hours of, just hours, maybe even days of playtime with this. I mean, I think every little kid would be like, whoa, I mean, it's just awesome. This is definitely one of my favorite playsets, and I'm super happy that I finally have a Fright Zone of my own. I wasn't a huge fan back in the 80s when the Horde came out, except for Grizzlord. The second I saw Grizzlord, I was like, oh, he's the awesomest character ever. I don't know. A furry action figure just kind of does it for me. but yeah, I wasn't too keen on how they were basically kind of turning Universal monsters into MOTU figures, because like Hordak is Count Dracula, Grizzlord is the Wolfman, Leech is Creature from the Black Lagoon, Mantenna is I don't know, something from Mars or something. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that they went for this whole monster thing, and I think in the long run it worked. When all was said and done, I was a bigger fan of the Evil Horde than I was of the Snake Men. And I know that is not a popular opinion. But I don't care. That's my opinion. You can have your opinion. I have my opinion. It's like my great-grandma used to say, I like what I like, and you like what you like. You don't like what I like, well, you can go to... Well, you know what? We're not going to go that far. But anyways, this has been Hyperdellic. I'm saying I love you guys. Thank you for checking out this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed putting it together, and I definitely enjoyed shooting it and posing everything out and doing the artwork for it and everything and getting good photos. This has been a very enjoyable toy unboxing experience for me. I hope that I have been able to portray that in video format for you. And if you have not gotten the Fright Zone, or if you're on the fence, about getting it, I hope that this video helps you change your mind and you can go get you some. If you're satisfied with this video and you don't really need much more as far as the Fright Zone goes, hey, I'm glad to have helped you out. I hope that we showed enough of it here for you to truly see what's going on with this thing and how cool it is. And I love this whole entire rebirth of Masters of the Universe. I am so excited for the movie coming out next year. I hope that it's something that everybody kind of latches onto, at least for a little while. I hope that it gives He-Man and the Masters of the Universe another wind, get their second, third, fourth wind, whatever it is. I would like to see Masters of the Universe doing well. I don't want to see it become harder for me to get my figures, but hey, we'll take it step by step. So again, thank you guys for watching the video. I love you all. Don't forget to do all the YouTube-y stuff, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member if you can. This stuff ain't cheap. I could definitely use some financial assistance. If you are a patron out there, please patronize me. No, don't patronize me, fool. Keep patronization to yourself. But yeah, this has been Hyperdellic saying, have a good time. Enjoy your Fright Zone if you get one. I love you all. Peace out!